Hi everyone, Justin Harris here again, and this is my week 3 of my business model class. And this video here is going to actually be focusing on customer research for my basically venture here, which is a mobile game design studio. So this week I had to go talk to at least 10 people, asking them what they what they wanted or what they were looking for in mobile games and apps. Me being a gamer, pretty much most of my life, I have surrounded myself around people that play games, and also my job allows me to interact with a lot of different types of people from different businesses and backgrounds. So I was able to get a lot of interesting information. So I will go over that here shortly in this video. And won't take too much of your time. Okay, so let's get the first main milestone out of the way, and this is probably the biggest deal in my business model here with my debut game, is whether to go free to play or paid download. This here is basically from a majority of the research I did, and it's not really definite to types of people, whether male, female, age or not. But a lot of people actually, it was kind of mixed. It was, some people were about pay to play and some were about the free to play. The biggest responses, or the thing I got most common from all the people, were that people enjoyed not paying to play the game, but they did not want to pay for the in-game features. For example, the probably the most popular game that most everybody played that I talked to was actually Candy Crush. People did not want to actually pay for extra lives or the actual special moves, and that was a hindrance with some of the games. People would play their set number of lives and then have to wait, an hour or 2 hours to actually play again. There were some that actually paid the actual price to actually obtain extra lives to continue playing the game, the level. And actually, the most interesting thing, and sorry, going to move my computer here, was the fact that some people actually found out ways to exploit hardware features. Let me give you a great example of this. Candy Crush, when you utilize or exhaust all your lives, you have to wait, I think it's 2 hours to actually gain another life to actually play again. People were actually going in onto their physical devices for the iPhone and actually going in and changing the date and time of their actual phone, going back to the game, getting their lives, and going back and changing the time. So this was actually giving them, the ability to play for as long as they want just by exploiting one little detail of the hardware. So what does this mean? This means that people were not paying to actually utilize the in-game purchase of extra lives. So in all, the company's actually losing revenue because of this. So that's something I want to be very mindful of. I have thought of a way and found a way to actually reduce this if I went to a free-to-play aspect of my game, and which would be make the game play on a server. Basically, the game updates per server time. However, to have a server means you have to pay maintenance to upkeep of the server, so that could actually be more costly for me. But in the long run, if I do a paid-to-play, or excuse me, if I do a free-to-play situation, that will help protect me. But that's no here no say. I haven't decided yet. I'm still leaning towards going to a paid download, which means you pay one price and you get the full access of the game, none of that in-game paid stuff for lives, things like that. But we'll see. So this part of the video here is going to talk about mechanics and features and kind of what I learned from the research with the people I spoke to. Now, I did speak to majority of female consumers or gamers, because last time I did research for one of my classes, which was not too long ago, the actual female gamer actually makes up a majority of the mobile market, and we're talking like 60%. So it's important that I get a lot of feedback from them, because not all the games are going to be geared towards female gamers, but again, we do want to create games that they're going to enjoy and also want to play. So, during the research, I talked about what people play, why they play, what do they like about them. A majority of the female people I spoke to, they played games like Candy Crush, Words for Friends, social aspect games that they can interact with friends with. Others, they like them because of simple controls, just push something here, swipe to do this. There was not a lot of motion control that they utilized. Now, male gamers utilized a lot of motion-based control games like Tilt to Play, Infinity Blade, which doesn't really use motion control, but they're more demanding on the actions they have to do. Funny, a lot of the females I talked to didn't actually play racing games, didn't really do a lot of action games. So it was interesting to see that males were playing more difficult to play games control-wise versus the females, and I can understand that. Now, I spoke to some older people as well, and when I mean older, I'm talking 50s, 60s, older business owners, things like that. And I got to interact with a few from work, actually the other day. And the funny thing is, a lot of them were still playing Angry Birds. And I asked them why Angry Birds, and they're like, well, it was simple, it was fun to them, and the controls, they didn't have to do a lot, just slide, and they understood the concept of the game. There was not a huge learning curve to that. When I mentioned other games, they really didn't utilize them. They didn't utilize social games like Words for Friends because they wasn't playing with other people. So younger people or younger audiences are the ones that are actually going to be utilizing the social aspects of games, where the older people are there for the fun. So this was some useful insight. It will help me with my business model of my first debut game. But again, like I said, I have most of the features and all of that actually mapped out. And the actual game itself, it's just the development side I've actually got to start getting into to get the game up and running. Alright guys, so last and final piece, and I'll make it short and sweet, is basically Battle of the OSs, or operating systems. Basically, majority of the people I talked to, which wasn't shocking, was they were all mainly Android users or iPhone users. I don't think I talked to one person, and then I believe I talked to about 18, 19 people that were not playing on the Windows platform, whether for a smartphone or tablet. So what does this mean? This means basically that my company needs to do the research to find out what product or hardware we're developing on. And we need to ensure that we reach out to the potential customers that we want to reach out to. Another thing was a difference between smartphone users and tablet users. They were actually playing different types of games. People that were utilizing tablets were playing more, console quality games that were utilizing more touching, swiping controls, motion controls. And the reason why I asked them was because they had a lot more viewing, bigger screen, and was able to hold the device and do those actual commands a lot easier than they were on a smaller smartphone. So again, I need to utilize that information and be sure that the content and mechanics and features I put in my debut game will consistently, be relevant to the type of people that are using them on the hardware that they're using them on. But again, this research was really beneficial, and I look forward to doing more. Thanks for watching.